Hello again, welcome back to Joe Stunner Boxing. Ellie Scotney made the first defence of her IBF super-bantamweight title on Saturday, and she defeated Argentina's 37-year-old Laura Griffa. Now, let's talk about Miss Griffa first of all, because, like I say, 37 years old, and the sort of dearth of talent in women's boxing is rather illustrated by the fact that Laura had won only two of her previous 8 fights. Now, they were the last 2 fights she'd had, and she won a couple of decisions. She came in with 20 wins, 1 KO, 8 defeats, and she'd never been stopped. So she's durable, and those 6 fights that she had where she lost a lot from 2019 to 2022. Like I say, all decisions, and there were some good women in there. You know, a couple of undefeated fighters. She was on the road as well. So I think she fought in Paris a couple of times. But it does show that with the depth of talent in women's boxing is not excessive. Let's put it that way. But she had won her previous 2 fights, and Ellie Scotney, 25 years old from Catford. She won on points against Griffa to take her record to 8 wins, no defeats, no draws. All 8 of her wins are on points, so you could sort of tell this one was going to go the distance. This was Ellie's, like I say, first defence. She won the title from Chanika Johnson of Australia, who at the time was 15 wins, 1 defeat. You might remember Chanika Johnson because at the weigh-in, she wore body paint. She was topless and she wore body paint. And everyone went, oh, look, a pair of tits. Very nice. She does all the OnlyFans stuff as well, which far be it from me to comment, but anyway, she can fight a bit as well, Chanika. And she also, no, she hadn't held a title before. I don't think she had. I think anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about Ellie. I'm not talking about Chanika, am I? But I think all of her fights previously had been in Australia. This was her first time out of Australia, and Ellie won wide, like 98, 92, 97, 93, that sort of thing. And like I say, Ellie's only 25. So this fight against Griffa, it was a case of Ellie Scotney using her superior skills, always being 1 punch and 1 step ahead. She controlled the range perfectly against a girl who wanted to get up close, wanted to rough her up, wanted to let her hands go and kind of outwork her, outmaul her, outfight her. But there was a lot of discipline on display from Ellie Scotney in this fight. And when you think about her trainer, Shane McGuigan, all of his fighters have that quality. They fight extremely disciplined fights. They have tactics, they have strategies, and they stick to them. And if someone tries to get them out of that rhythm, out of that tactic, that groove that they're in, they kind of resist it. So then it's like this fight was not the most exciting fight. I ended up scoring it for Ellie 98 to 92. I think towards the end of the second half of the fight, maybe the last third of the fight, Ellie was drawn into a bit of a gunfight, and Laura was able to sort of maul her a bit and pinch a couple of rounds. But for the most part, Ellie Scotney was very disciplined, controlled it with the jab. Orthodox fighter, Ellie. She was always a step ahead. Laura, also an orthodox fighter. She was reaching too much. Her footwork wasn't as good as Ellie's. Ellie constantly forcing Laura to reset by moving her feet, a little bit of lateral movement, and then bang, bang. It was a good performance by Ellie Scotney, a good 10 rounds. And, again, the girl's she's only had 8 professional fights, and this is her first defence of a world title. It was impressive stuff. I like watching Ellie Scotney because I think she does have a very sort of traditional, conventional style of fighting, but she does everything well. There's no real cracks in her overall game, except that maybe she can get drawn into a fight against a fighter like Griffa who just wants to scrap. For some rounds, she was actually beating Griffa at her own game. She was getting into the pocket and, letting her hands go and outworking Griffa and having the final say, the final punch. But it uses up energy, And okay, it's 10 2-minute rounds, not 12 threes. But why do it when you can just stick the jab out, control the range, and okay, it's not going to be as exciting, but technically, I think it's probably the way to go if you want a long career, if you don't want to pick up too much damage, put too many miles on the clock. But, you know, Griffa, despite her 2 wins out of the last 8, actually turned out to be a pretty good opponent. And I thought Ellie won. I thought she won most of the rounds. I did 98-92. I believe there were a couple of 100 to 90s or 100 to 91s. Yeah, maybe. Someone had it 99-91, I think, which was... She wasn't quite whitewashed, Laura Griffa, but definitely Ellie won this fight wide. And yeah, she retained her IBF super-bantam title. So, I don't know, I mean, you know, a fight with someone like... you know, we mentioned Johnson, what's her name? Chinika Johnson earlier from Australia. You know, why not Ebony Bridges? Why not match her up there? I know Bridges has got a title, but that'd create a bit of buzz. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, comments below. What do you think of Ellie Scotney? Where do you think she's going? Do you think she can unify the division? If you've got any opinions, leave them below and I'll answer them. Thank you as always for your time, for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and please leave a like as well. It all helps us. And yeah, we'll speak again soon. Bye for now.